Guten Tag, Observer, and willkommen zu meinem Welt. In this episode, I'm going on a completely unscripted rant right now. And the reason for this is over a video called Dear Fat People, made by a woman named Nicole Arbor. Okay, I watched this video. It's basically about fat coddling. Basically, what she is she's anti-fat shaming. Basically, she goes on about how bad being fat is and stuff like that. Her instances with fat people, trying to put a comedic slant to her message, which is fat coddling and the problems with fat coddling. And what I find offensive about this is that her YouTube channel was banned because of it. And like this is a personal, like this offends me in so many ways. I am actually offended by this. I'm over 300 pounds. I used to have fatty liver disease. I used to be pre-diabetic. I have a damaged thyroid. I am living in poverty. All I can eat is ramen for the most part, which is the last thing you want to eat if you're pre-diabetic and are obese. I am obese. And like there's so much sugar in that ramen that if I was pre-diabetic, which I was, and I didn't do anything about it, that would cause me diabetes. Straight up cause me diabetes if that's all I could eat, day in and day out. It wouldn't matter how skinny I was, or how fat I was. If that was all I could eat, all day, every day, I would have diabetes. And like I said, this is unscripted, not like most of my things are scripted anyway, but this is a full-on rant, I'm sorry. But, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I can't run. I physically cannot run because I am over 300 pounds. I am over 300 pounds. I physically cannot run because my shin muscles cannot tolerate it. All I can do is walk, and I can walk. 2 months ago, I hiked over 200 miles in a month for one of my field projects out in Colorado, which is part of my career that I hope to have. I get around, and I have a weightlifting set right here. I work out. I walk. I'm obese. I can't run because my legs won't work. Because my legs can't physically handle me being 300 pounds. I understand what it's like to be fat. And I understand what it's like for someone to be like, hey man, being fat's not good for you. And me having like barely any options to combat that with things like ramen and my damaged thyroid and stuff like that. I understand that feeling when people are like, well, you should just lose weight and stuff like that. That's not what she was going at in this video. She was going after fat coddling, which to me is far worse than fat shaming could ever be. I mean, the problems with fat shaming is that it could make someone depressed, lower self-esteem, make them quit what they think is, if they're trying to do something, they might think that it's not working good enough and they stop what they're doing and start a new project to lose weight, and that might mess up other things. So, I mean, there are legitimate problems with fat shaming. If I get depressed, I'm not going to work out. I'm going to skip walking to the grocery store. I might drive there, even though I'm not able to drive because my car's messed up. But if my car was working, I'd probably just drive to the store instead of walking to the store and doing bicep curls with the grocery bags all the way home. If I was fat shamed, I would be like, well, there's no point in doing that. I mean, if I was depressed, it's like, oh, there's no point in doing that. There's no point in even really living, so why even bother getting skinny in the first place? I mean, that's the depression trap that could be helped facilitated by fat shaming. But she wasn't condoning fat shaming. She was condoning fat cuddling, which is much worse, which is the equivalent of the doctor handing me a note saying, oh, you have prediabetes, and you have fatty liver disease, and you have a damaged thyroid. And my mother looking at me and saying, oh, it's okay, you were born that way. And yeah, I guess I kind of was born that way. I mean, it's a family history of diabetes in my family. Um, there's fatty liver in my family. I mean, maybe I was born this way. Maybe my thyroid was destined to be messed up. But, I mean, I have this all stacked against me, but the last thing I need is someone saying, oh, it's okay. Oh, it's okay to do this. It's okay to do that. I mean, it's okay to continue doing what you're doing. No. No. My mom looked me in the face. I mean, even the doctor, once she seen my mom, like, my mom wasn't going to coddle me, my mom was like, okay, you have fatty liver disease. Uh, well, no, this is what the doctor said. The doctor said, you have fatty liver disease. If you drink and become an alcoholic, you'll be dead by 30. My mom looks at me and she was like, yeah, well, this was whenever I found out that I had prediabetes. This wasn't all at once. She's a nurse and she was like, yeah, if you don't get this fixed and continue the way you're going to be dead by 30. I mean, so I've had 2 medical sources tell me I'm going to be dead by 30. I'm 26. But anyway, within a couple months, I fixed my fatty liver disease, and my prediabetes went away. I had an A1C recently. I had no problems. I mean, I worked to be healthy, and it's not because like I want to live long. That's a completely different rant. On I don't agree with fat shaming because I mean I don't even have a problem with somebody being fat and that it actually shortening their lives. I don't care about that. I don't care like about me being fat and that shortening my life. Who cares how long life is? But that's a completely different rant. But the premise of that is that I don't want my fatness is prohibiting me from doing things that I want to do, and that's what concerns me. That's what actually concerns me. I mean, like I said, I can't run down I can't run a quarter mile without my shins feeling like they're about to explode. And if I push myself to run 3 miles, I can run 3 miles, but if I push myself to run 3 miles, I will have a giant cyst on the side of my leg about yay big of just fluid being pushed out of my muscles, and lactic acid being pushed out from my body not able to handle the pressure of constantly slamming against the concrete. I've done it. I've had that cyst develop because I'm over 300 pounds. Okay? I mean, I don't want that to happen. I want to be able to run. I want to be able to hike for 200 miles straight and not have an issue. I mean, I hiked 20 miles the other day, no problem, but I mean, that's neither here or there. I can hike all the day long, but anyway, I mean, I can't even, I live in a tatami mat flooring because I didn't want a couch anymore, quite literally. But I wanted to get rid of my couch because I was getting ready to move, and I switched to tatami mat flooring. And this was one of the best things that I've done. Which tatami mat flooring, if y'all don't know, I forego a couch and have a mat. But anyway, because I'm fat, I cannot sit Japanese style. I mean, that's the best I can do. If I try to straighten my back, I start injuring this part of my foot. And the reason for that is because my calves, I mean, I have somewhat muscular calves, but the combination of the fat in my calves and the fat in my thighs make me unable to get into a basic position. I can't do a normal healthy squat like this without putting back on my feet, because there are physical limitations because of my massive thighs and my massive calves. Okay, I mean, that's the reason why I get skinny. But anyway, back to the discussion. Like, if I was fat coddled, I'd be over 330 pounds now. I was 330 pounds at one time, and I didn't think anything of it because there was nobody there beside me being like, hey man, you're starting to get a little big. Nobody told me that. They just watched me watch it happen. As my security job, I was a security officer for a little while. And during that time, I gained like 40, 50 pounds because I was just sitting in a chair and nobody really said anything. They just told me, hey man, you're a big guy. Because at the same time I was working out while I was sitting down most of the time, but I had a 100-pound bar in the guard shack and doing rows with it and stuff like that. Like, I was exercising, but I wasn't doing enough to keep the fat off. And it wasn't enough to justify me gaining 40 pounds, maybe like 5 pounds. And that's even pushing it. And because there was no one there to be like, hey man, this is starting to hurt your health. I had to go out into a project at Pilot Mountain one day to survey it, and every 100 feet I had to stop because I almost had an asthma attack. And I've never been near feeling like I've had an asthma attack since I was like 15 or something. Like, I thought that I no longer had asthma. I probably still don't. I was about to have a heart attack or something and mistaked it for an asthma attack. But I mean, now I don't have that issue because I'm no longer a security guard and I'm actually getting in shape. I can run. I mean, I can run 3 miles, but it causes damage to me. But anyway, but if somebody was coddling, being, it's okay to be fat. It's okay to be fat. Don't think anything of it. You're beautiful just the way you are. Do you know how bad it would have gotten? I mean, nobody was coddling me, but they weren't telling me that I was gaining weight. And I was gaining weight and I seen it on the scale, but it wasn't transcribing in my mind how fat I was until I went hiking for 200 miles over the summer. And I got back down to 300 pounds and got to see what I looked like in comparison. And I was like, why didn't y'all tell me I got so fat? I mean, I gained like 4 inches on my stomach or something like that. It was just ridiculous and nobody told me. But even worse would have been if somebody just told me it was okay. And that's the problem with this, what she was going on about, is fat coddling is horrible. And she was like, why are we fat coddling these people? I mean, of course she didn't have to say it as harsh as she did, but she was being a comedian. I didn't nothing she said came off to me as hate speech. Nothing she said to me came off as bullying. She was just stating things. It's not like I thought in the back of her mind that she was thinking, oh, I hate fat people. I didn't get that at all. And if somebody got that from that, what is going on in your mind? Like, that was the first video I had ever seen of her. And I subscribed to her immediately. Because I realized that she's not hating fat people. She's not bullying fat people. In the back of her mind, she probably has nothing against fat people. What she's having against is fat coddling. And I was like, I agree with that. I like the way you approach this. And I subscribed to her. Next thing I know, she's banned from YouTube. And then everybody's like, yeah, ban her, ban her, ban her. And this is the real problem. This is the main reason for my rant. Sorry, we're about, 14 minutes in, and now I'm going into the actual rant. Not that any of my videos are ever scripted. I mean, they have some sort of flow to them. But, I mean, this is just how unscripted my rage is right now. And it's not really a rage. It doesn't affect me in reality. But the trend I am seeing is disgusting and deplorable and makes me not want to be an American. That's a completely other thing. But what I'm seeing right now is, one, she got banned. And to make this more sense on why I'm angry that she would be banned for this, is that I watch a plethora of social media. I get on YouTube and I follow creationists, I follow atheists, I follow Muslims, I follow feminists, I follow anti-feminists, MGTOWs, the men's rights movement. I follow I've I follow several science channels. I follow a bunch of like male versus female experiments on YouTube and stuff like that. Like I expose myself to as much contradictory stuff as possible so I could see multiple sides of things before making my own opinion of things. I like to see um, what all is out there, what is everybody saying, and what are the issues that they have, and such like that. And what I am starting to see is this trend where YouTube is starting to censor anyone that doesn't fit a specific narrative. I mean, for example, Sargon of Akkad, just like last week, he got his channels temporarily shut down, and now he can only post like 15-minute videos. Red Pill Philosophy, I just found out recently. I don't watch his stuff that often, and I don't agree with him that often. But he's something to watch on the issue. His videos got cut down to 15 minutes, and they're forced to make their videos under a certain constraint when they used to be posting like 30 to an hour long videos criticizing certain things. They're being censored by YouTube because they don't fit a certain narrative, and now she, without having any sort of warning, any sort of strikes against her, or anything like that, Nicole Arbor just gets struck down, completely deleted for not supporting fat coddling. And if YouTube's going to be like that, they might as well just put on a disclaimer. This is not a place for free speech. Anything outside of this political agenda will not be tolerated. That's what they have to say. I mean, they have comments on hate speech and stuff like that, but hate speech is being turned into a weapon in this case. I mean, a lot of what things people are saying that are being attributed to hate speech is not hate speech, it's criticism. And like Sargon of Akkad, he wasn't yelling at anyone. He wasn't yelling at groups of people. He was commenting, he comments on news articles and criticizes the way of thinking and the logic behind what's being said in the news articles. I mean, sometimes that touches on feminism, sometimes it touches on men's rights movements. Anything he finds illogical, he comments on. And anything he finds illogical, like conservative side, liberal side, even though he's a liberal, like he comments on. He has no, oh, you're cool with me, bro. He's like, if you do something stupid, you're accountable for it. And he disclaims that. And somehow that's getting construed as hate speech. I mean, with Red Pill Philosophy, it's more cut and dry. He actually, like, says derogatory terms to, like, try to get people he doesn't want watching his videos to click away from his videos or watch it and, like, get offended or something like that to prove a point. But his stuff is still not hate speech. He's still criticizing logic in trying to put forth, like, his own stupid evolutionary psychology, which he may not be qualified to do. But that doesn't matter. The thing that bothers me is that they're being censored for it, under the flags of hate speech or this, that, or the other, or whatever political agenda seems to be in style at the time. And that is beyond repulsive. I mean, this is disgusting. Coddling people is disgusting. I mean, of course that's my opinion, but I mean, we have free speech for a reason, and I understand that YouTube doesn't have to follow free speech, but I came into YouTube under the pretense that there's free speech here, that there's a free exchange of information, barely any censorship unless it's illegal, And yet, now it's all of a sudden there's a political undertones to YouTube. And that is disgusting beyond compare. Where am I going to go now? What other service is there where I can watch what I want to watch without it being censored? Do I go to Vivo? Do I go to Daily Motion? Where do I go? Somebody tell me where is a safe place to get away from all this censorship? I need a safe place. I am offended, and I need a safe place away from all this coddling and all of this censorship. Somebody tell me where the safe space is for me, please. Okay, so I think I've said all I wanted to say. It is absurd that this woman's channel got shut down because she said that fat people need to exercise, that that fat shaming doesn't exist. For saying that fat shaming doesn't exist, she gets banned. For saying that people shouldn't be coddled because they're fat, and that it's oxymoronic and unhealthy, should not be something to be banned about. I mean, that's just all this video. I mean, I'm sorry I rambled on for over 20 minutes, but this really got my gears grinding. How ridiculous things are getting, and that YouTube would do something like this. I mean, I understand if people are yelling, ban the video, ban the video. People are entitled to their opinion. If they feel like something should be banned, let them voice their opinion. But why should you ban it? Just because people don't like something. Just because people don't like something doesn't mean something should be banned or that a law should be made against it. They do not have to do something. I mean, I'm continuing on with my rant here. I mean, I can't tolerate watching police brutality videos. The stuff that goes on there offends me, even if the cops are in the right or in the wrong. I mean, it just gets my heart boiling. And I don't be like, y'all shouldn't be posting this violent stuff on YouTube or anything like that. I just say, I probably shouldn't be watching that. That's not good for my health. I don't need my heart to be pumping like this in anger and screaming at my next door neighbor that doesn't exist. I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, ban that account for showing something horrific like that, or I need a trigger warning for that. No, like you can say that. I have no problem with people saying there should have been at least a disclaimer. I have no problem with people saying that it should be banned, but to actually ban it and give in to like oppression like that is ridiculous. I mean, people can scream, oh, ban this, ban that all day, but they're free to make that opinion, and so is the people who made the supposedly offensive video, which me, as a fat person who has medical problems that cannot keep the weight out without due diligence and having, especially not in the current environment, economic environment that I'm in now, how I can't keep off the weight physically. It's not an actual possibility for me right now. It will be in the future, because as soon as I get my real job and I make real money, I can actually eat something that is not conclusive to being fat, and I can actually do things more than I would and stuff like that. Anyway, I can't even remember where I was going with that. But I mean, I am fat. I'm not offended by what she said. I mean, they can say it's offended, but I'm not offended. It's not inherently offensive. Nothing is inherently offensive. It's just, did you get offended? Maybe you shouldn't have watched that if you weren't ready to be offended. If you weren't ready to have your values checked or put into question, or if you weren't ready to handle a certain situation. That is not their problem. That is your personal problem. I mean, I've seen a woman who's like, what, are you saying that it's the fault of the person who's offended that they're offended? Yes! If you're offended by something, like, that wasn't forced upon you, you weren't forced to be in a certain situation, you weren't forced to watch something, you weren't forced to do this or forced to do that, there is no reason to hold somebody else accountable for you being offended. You put yourself in that position. Like, just because you're offended doesn't mean that you lost all responsibility or accountability of your person. You put yourself in that situation to be offended. You knew what was coming. Some people argue that they didn't know what was coming. If someone just put on a video, dear fat people, I wouldn't automatically assume that it's a fat shaming video or a critique on fat shaming or fat coddling. I don't want to say anti-fat shaming. That's ridiculous. It's fat coddling. She was anti-fat coddling. I mean, you're not going to get that from the title, but within the first few sentences of what she said, you should have been like, okay, this is going to get my blood pressure up. I'm going to be offended. Is this worth me looking to see what she has to say? Okay? That should have been your thought process. Okay, I'm based off of the first sentence that comes out of her mouth, I may be offended by this. Should I keep watching? Is there any value in continuing watching? If not, I have no reason to be watching this. I have no reason to elevate my blood pressure. I have no reason to elevate my heart rate. This is an ill use of my time. I'm not gaining anything from this. That should have been your process. It shouldn't have been like, oh, I am offended. Like, you just leave. Just leave. Like, you don't. There is no, nobody's forcing you to watch this. And somebody said that's the most ridiculous argument there is. No, it is a strong argument. I mean, just because someone has an opposing view on something doesn't mean that they shouldn't be allowed to express it. I mean, if that opinion offends you, that still doesn't mean that they don't have the right to say it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have to exist. You have your own person, you have your own volition, you do not have to expose yourself to something offensive that you find offensive. Her video is not innately offensive, but if you got offended from it, that's your fault. One, you took it out of context. I mean, if you're offended that somebody's anti-fat coddling, I have personal qualms with that. That's a whole different monster. If you think it's okay to fat coddle someone and you are offended that somebody is not fat coddling someone, that is a completely despicable monster all by itself. But if you're taking that she's fat shaming, that she's bullying, you are not grasping what she is saying. And that's not your fault if you do not lack the intelligence to see what she's saying. Okay? If you're not able to see undertones like that, that's not your fault. I mean, I accidentally said you're not intelligent. I mean, I didn't mean that. But if you couldn't see the undertones, if you're the kind of person who is a concrete thinker that can't see undertones like that, that's not your fault. But it is your fault that you got offended, that you put yourself in a situation to be offended. You could have just walked away. Okay, anyway, that's all I got time for this. It's been a 30-minute rant. I tried stopping 10 minutes ago. It didn't work. I spent 15 minutes rambling about, like, the video when I was actually really mad about censorship. But anyway, this is my most unscripted rant video that I made. And comment below what you think of it. I really don't care what you think about it, but it might entertain me. So if you have comments, comment below. But I really don't care. Anyway, I don't know what else to think at this point. I'm upset. Even though this has no personal affliction against me, I'm going to go around my next day doing absolutely everything normal. Except every time I get on YouTube now, I'm just going to have this overshadowing feeling that what I'm watching is being censored, and that's going to piss me off. I shouldn't log on, get on YouTube, and be automatically upset. Because anyway, that's enough. That's enough. Anyway, I'll feed his Zane. Fudge. Come on. Close.